to the rock, sing to the tree, sing to the firefly lighting up the sky. Sing, sing to the sea.
Hello, I'm Mary Whelan, and this is The Song, a show that presents songwriters, composers, and lyricists and their original songs. And today I am very pleased to present a New York City-based songwriter, Vincent Cross.
Shall come to pass every blessing and every curse. Now every secret thing is gone we once shared. Now everything you thought would last in an instant was cast. When nothing's left but memories hang. Curse is the day because your love strayed. Cursed since the day you went away. Cursed because your love strayed. In the morning you shall say, why new curses come my way? Just before the morning sun has reached your eyes. And as you travel across life's sea, you know each day you think of me and bitterly remember all your life. Curse since the day you went away. Cursed because your love strayed. Cursed since the day you went away. Cursed because your love strayed. Walking on the outside, looking at the inside, looking for a person similar to kind. You can run away, but you cannot leave. You can get used up and used to anything. Head down to the railroad tracks, abandoned and unknown. The grass is overgrown. Takes a lot to laugh, my friend, when you can't feel anything. headed down to the railroad tracks, abandoned and unknown, grass is overgrown. Now that you're leaving, you're looking for a reason. You gotta keep moving from the demons inside. Whatever you do, if it gets you through, then it's the best that you can do. Cut the world in two and then take the better half, my friend. It takes a lot to laugh, my friend, when you can't feel anything and you need a new beginning. Walking on the outside and at the inside, looking for a person similar to kind.
Very nice. I like your style, your guitar playing, your voice, the songs. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so glad you could come today from New York City.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And you were considered a roots songwriter and musician?
That's a good question or a good statement.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's roots,
Mm-hmm.
but I listen to a lot of old recordings, the old blues and country and bluegrass, and I look for all the sounds that interest me in those kind of acoustic sounds. So they are the roots, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
of popular music. So.
And so some of it would be kind of bluegrass, some of it would be kind of country sort of
Yeah.
influence?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Now, how did you get exposed to those genres growing up when you grew up in Australia? Did you hear those genres there, or?
I sometimes think I may have.
You may have,
through
yeah.
television and the soundtracks, But I do remember my first memory was obviously, well, not obviously, but one of the first memories was Elvis, actually. So I was aware, of Elvis as probably the first important musical figure. And I guess it's funny because probably everything I do has influenced, the music that influenced Elvis is probably influenced everything I do, but in a different kind of direction. Now, I went back and fiddled around looking for, I don't know what I was looking for. I always have this story that I heard Bob Dylan later on as a teenager, and a lot of songwriters kind of went, boom, that's the spot, and they moved forward. And I kind of listened to everybody that was on that first album that he had out. And there was Booker White, I think, Jesse Fuller. He was doing songs by all these other guys. And there was some bluegrass on there too, like Man of Constant Sorrow was on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard all that stuff, and the story is always the same. If you've just got a guitar, at home, and you're listening to very overproduced music, you can't really latch onto it. But I had a guitar, and was just starting to play. So when I heard all that stuff, it made it possible for me to become engaged in the music.
Right.
I went in two stories there.
Now, you have the two CDs. One is called Home Away from Home, was the first one.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, the second one is A Town Called Normal.
That's right.
And would you say that they're similar, or the second one's kind of a departure from the first, or what?
I think there were a lot of different ideas I wanted to do with this second album. But I definitely wanted to do the first album. The first album was Home Away from Home, which is all bluegrass instrumentation, and pretty much traditional bluegrass instrumentation, I would say. All original songs. And I wanted to do that type of album because it was something I really wanted to do, I wanted to see if I could do it, first of all. I wanted to see if I could actually pull it off. I didn't think I would be able to. and I was very happy with the results. But I think this is the album that, if I was courageous enough then, right, I would have probably have done this album. This album is like a combination of different influences instead of just one style or genre like bluegrass. In this one, I wanted to bring in some of the other sounds that were interesting me, that I didn't bring in the last one.
And it mentions that a couple on it, or in here it mentions a couple of them have sort of a jazz feel to them.
Yeah, there's some musicians on there that are very steeped in. They're jazz musicians, really. You know, that's will be their. I think it's their main passion, and when we got together and played, they were doing things with one of the tunes particularly. I think it's a cuckoo. It's kind of like a 200-year-old ballad, you know, from the British Isles, and they were doing really interesting stuff on it, you know, and I thought, this is, and we went off on a spacey little jazz piece where we went into kind of improv and kind of stuff, and I thought, I like that idea where just because you're playing roots music doesn't mean that you can't change it. You know what I mean? And just go with whatever sounds are happening. You know that there is sort of a code that you were playing, but you can move away from that and come back to it again. And I think that, in terms of improvisation, that's kind of jazzy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like you push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, it's much more exciting when you don't know what you're going to play. You know what I mean? If you always know what you're going to play, then it can come. It sometimes isn't exciting.
Now, I want to make sure that people know how to find out more about you. What's your website?
It's www.vincentcross.com. Everything's laid out there. You can send me an email there. You can listen to tunes in the listening room. You can purchase stuff there. There's a little store, and you can click on the little links, and it'll take you to whether it's CD Baby or iTunes or Amazon.
And you're on Facebook too, aren't you?
Yeah, I think everybody is these days on Facebook. So I am there. I have a band page and a personal page, but you know they kind of just bleed into each other.
Okay. Well, why don't you do another song, and we'll talk some more after.
I'd be delighted.
Okay, great.
First shame was in the garden. It's there that I first strayed. Hidden by a cloak of darkness, I gave up being saved. Nobody knows what the caged bird sings till you put away your childish things. Stealing back to my hometown, thinking the new outweighs the old. Like the sound of a baby crying, it cuts you to your very soul. Nobody knows why the caged bird sings till you put away your childish things. Sometimes the things that make you break, sometimes the ones that love you hate you. But there's just one thing I promise you, I will see you once again. Nobody knows why the caged bird sings you put away all childish things. Until you put away all childish things.
I like that one too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And somebody had mentioned that your music, it's stuff you've written, but it sounds like really old music sometimes. It really does. It sounds like, like something that people would, a cover song that people would do, that real traditional kind of song,
That's interesting,
Yeah.
because I'm sure, these structures I'm playing, they've been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been a progression beyond these basic structures, because I don't think they're complicated, in terms of what, but they can be, and when you inhabit a sound from the past, it's a strange experience. It's like I play mandolin as well, and I played bluegrass mandolin, and I would learn Bill Monroe solos, and in learning to play the way that somebody else played, you feel like you're in their head, and you recognize, you try and get a glimpse of what it must have been like, to be that person. It's a strange experience, and when you're playing like somebody who's a genius like Bill Monroe, you try and get to think how they might think when it comes to playing music. And a lot of what Bill would do was really incredibly intuitive. He was really listening to what the instrument could do, and he would step into shapes and into positions that, if you were to think about it, you might not go there. And I think he was really listening to the instrument. What else was he going to listen to? A lot of those earlier musicians, they weren't listening to YouTube. They would pick up the instrument and they would listen to the instrument and themselves, and they would come up with stuff that still blows my mind still today.
So do you feel like if you play a song by him, do you feel almost like you're channeling him almost?
Yeah, you could call it that, because you can't write the words of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, but you can play the licks, of the musicians, and inhabit them, because the physicality is there. Your hands are going where their hands went. Some people take it on a fetish level. They buy the instruments that the musician used, the Lloyd Loar instruments that are worth $250,000. They get, so maybe that's one of the theories I have. Maybe it's because they really want to inhabit entirely, the sound of something, because the recorded sound isn't the same as the real sound struck in the moment. Right?
Yep. Now, can you talk a little bit about your process of writing songs and what that's like for you?
Yeah, I could. There's no set way, but recently I had an incident in which I had written a song and recorded it, and it sat there, and I'd forgotten about it, and I was riding on the subway, and I was playing through these old files, and I came across it, and it was short of verse. I remember I had written 2 verses and a chorus, and I said, it needs another verse, but at the time, it wasn't happening. It was like, I tend to write in sort of 15 minutes to 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I'm not, so if it's not happening, I don't labor the process. If I was a commercial songwriter, I would. I'd sit there and that would be my job, and I don't want to think like that. I want it to, if it's going to come, it's going to come. I'll work it a little, but this isn't my job. This is me being creative, and I don't want it to be confused, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm trying to fool myself, I don't know. But so I had this place, I needed a verse, and I'm listening to the tune, I'm going, I really like the tune, and but I couldn't write that third verse. I was going, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I scribbled something down, because I do that too. But I knew at the time it wasn't, I wasn't sure if I was going to connect to the music. So what I had to do is kind of like inhabiting the instrument, which I was talking about a minute ago. I had to listen to the recording again, and I had to learn how I had played it. And when I had learned how I had played it then and sung the verses I had, the third verse came to me. I had something in my... It told me somehow in my head, said, you have a line in your little notebook somewhere. And I went and I grabbed the notebook and I went, it fits. You know. So I stuck that third verse on there. And then I went, it's finished, I think. For me, for now.
Yeah.
I got my third verse, you know. And then I tweaked a few parts of the chorus.
I think it's always the toughest, is the third verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say they should write 4 or 5. You know, write as many as you can. You know, but sometimes 2 is all you can get. You know, Hank Williams used to do that a lot, where he'd write 1 verse, 1 chorus, you know, and he would get stuck, and he would bring it in, and he'd say, "I need some," and I remember reading about it somewhere. I think it was in a magazine in a dentist's room somewhere. I'm not sure, but I think it was Rose. Was it Roy? No, Roy Acuff. Was it? One of the guys that he hung around with would add would help him and add the verse, and they were essentially co-writing. You know? I think that's one of the questions you often ask is about
do you co-write?
I guess I'm always co-writing if you're listening to other songwriters. You're listening to their ideas, aren't you?
Well, you get inspired by them.
Get inspired.
Yeah.
And maybe there's no physical exchange of your idea with them, but conversation is co-writing. You know, if I'm talking to you and I hear something I like, I might add it to something I liked in a song. But I just want to give you the credit for it.
I actually quoted someone directly in a song.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
because they said something I really like. Yeah, and but it was named. The song was named after her. Yeah, so people knew that she had inspired the song, but one sentence was directly from her.
Is she getting royalties?
I'm not getting any. but the song is actually in the Smithsonian, believe it or not. It's on a CD that's in the Smithsonian. But that's
It's
cool.
legitimate.
Yes. But anyway, so
Someday I'll get into the Smithsonian.
yeah.
And,
Yes.
then I'll look around and then leave.
But I don't make any money on it. But anyway, I want to make sure people know how to get in touch with you and find out about your music. They can go to vincentcross.com.
That's right. If you want to find out about the music.
All right. Well, maybe we can do a couple more songs to close out.
Be delighted.
Okay.
I think this one's called Rack and Ruin. So we'll try it. Some say a man will go to rack and ruin. Without the love of a good woman. But when I think of you, it's not confusing. 'Cause 2 hearts were in the choosing. Sound of time rings like a hammer. People talk about everywhere but here. And every song is a lonesome mountain holler. A pierced antenna of your canal. Sometimes life's road appears deserted. and the passing lights measure out our time. And if sighs are the smoky fumes of being together, then together our loneliness is fine. Some say a man go to rack and ruin, because the lack of love is all consuming. But when I think of you, it's not confusing. 'Cause two hearts were in the choosing. You say I don't notice anymore. When you dress up, you wonder what for. Honey, I'm sorry, I'm not aware. It's not that I don't care, I just have trouble being there. You say something's missing from my eyes. The life we've chosen is frozen and I said time ain't a friend of mine. My courage lost luggage pulls me behind. Well, it's not that I don't care, I just have trouble in there.